Last 2 weeks I was speaking about Ma'amar Chazal, that when Moshiach will come, the earth will give out L'skois Klei Milas, ready-made bread and honorable clothing. In the same Gemara, there's also Gemara Masechet Shabbos. It also says another two Ma'amar Chazal. One of them is that a woman will give birth every day. I'm going to dash and I see the Isha Shatela B'cholim, a woman will give birth every day, and he brought a pasuk. What's the pasuk? It speaks about Kibbutz Goliath, when the Yidden will be gathered back to Eretz Yisrael. So it says, Hodav Yeled L'Siachta. There will be a pregnant woman and a woman that will give birth together. So in Pshutei Shamikra, in the simple meaning of the pasuk, it just means that there will be all Yidden will come, those that are pregnant, those that gave birth. But he dashed in the pasuk Hodav Yeled L'Siachta to mean that a woman that's pregnant and becoming pregnant and giving birth will be together. So it says, Liglig Alav Oisei Talmud, there was a certain student that laughed at him, and he brought the pasuk, it says, Enkel Chodesh Tachas Hashemesh, is nothing new under the sun. How is this possible to happen? So he went out and he showed him a chicken, that a hen lays an egg every day. Said, you see, already in this world we have a dugma. He said, I'll show you a dugma in this world to this phenomena that will take place when Moshiach will come. There's also similar things that fruits, every tree will give fruit every day, and he also laughed at him and he showed him there's a certain tree that has different types of fruits, whatever, but it gives off different things come out, very often. So I want to focus today on the Ma'amar Chazal that a woman will give birth every day and discuss some aspects of it. First of all, in the simple meaning of it, like I mentioned,
about a chicken, even they put the eggs every day, but from an egg to become a chicken takes, I think, about 3 weeks. I don't know exactly.
True. That's true.
I'm a small farmer, bin ich doch, and I'm saying it's even right.
How long does it take time from when the egg becomes fertilized until it comes out?
3-4 weeks, something.
No. You're talking about once the hen already, the chicken lays the egg.
Weiß ich nicht, I don't know.
Okay, good. I'll get to that maybe this week, maybe next week. So, first of all, as I mentioned always, the Rambam learns these Ma'amar Chazal Shaloi Kipshudah. The Rambam explains that these Ma'amar Chazal aren't to be taken literally, because the Rambam says that in the first period of Mashiach's coming there won't be a change in Minhagi Shalom, the normal behavior of the world. So the Rambam discusses regarding the earth giving out food and clothes. I discussed last time. The Rambam explains what it means. It means it'll be so easy to get food and clothes. People will say it's as if, when somebody finds something ready-made, he says the earth gave out a ready-made food, ready-made clothes. When this Ma'amar Chazal that the woman will give birth every day, the Rambam doesn't explain what's the meaning of it. But someone else is a certain someone lived a few hundred years ago, we don't know his name, was someone who printed in the Kovet somewhere, is a Ksav Yad that he writes. He learns with Pashas, he learns that it means that the woman will be so easy to give birth, and pregnancy will be much easier, and birth will be much easier, that it'll be as if, we will say woman gave birth every day, like it's not going to be a whole, like this.
I'm sorry, go koidum chetzetar das.
They said that's basement doch, but das is Kipshutte. The Rambam not Shaloi Kipshutte.
Okay. No, ich sag, you gave dorten, okay, the Shaila from Gambil hat gelacht. So, koidum chetzetar das gewinnen ein Schoch, wie viel 2 Jahre, I don't know exactly.
Good. Fine. So the question is, what is Rabbi Gamil going around showing him the chicken, going around showing him the mushrooms and everything? So the Rambam says Rabbi Gamliel was just trying to play along with him. you don't understand what I'm saying, so you think I mean it literally, so I'll show you, even if you want to say it's literal, I'll show you, that's possible. But that's, it was an iksil kavlasa, you're answering a fool according to his foolishness. But not that you, but if you didn't chap off, but that wasn't his main intention. That's the way the Rambam learned. The Rebbe learns that what forces the Rambam to say that it's not to be taken literally is because this pasuk is speaking about the first period of Moshiach. It's speaking about kibbutz galis, the gathering. The Rebbe doesn't say this clearly, but that's coming from the Rebbe's, from the way the Rebbe explains that since this pasuk is speaking about kibbutz galis, the gathering of the exiles, which happens right when Moshiach comes. So those psukim, like I told you, the defining factor is those psukim that are dealing with Moshiach's activities, those things that are directly connected with this coming. The Rambam learns are not to be taken literally. Fine, that's the way the Rambam learns. But many other people learn kipshutai, that they learn it kipshutai, like I mentioned before Chet Eitzadas. The taka took an hour or whatever it was for Cain and his twin to be born. Before I get though to discussing how the opinions I learned it literally, I don't think I mentioned this in the past. That was an interesting thing b'chlal, not only again Yanagol Moshiach, but the Maral discusses these Mamorei Chazal. Maral gives two approaches. One approach is like we mentioned before, that it's to be taken literally. How could this happen? It seems like a miracles. So he says that it's not really a miracle because before the Chet Eitzadas, that's the way it was. Trees gave fruit every day, Cain and Adam had children right away. So he says, if people say, this Shiloh really is from Shmuel. Shmuel holds that there's no difference between this world and the world of and the days of Mashiach. Besides Shibud Machis Bilvad, besides the fact that there will be Yidden will have, their own independence, etc. So some, the Maral and a number of other people, they say it's not a contradiction because Shmuel is just saying there won't be anything new in nature, something that inherently, this is the way nature was supposed to be to begin with. If not for the fact that there was interference of the Chet Eitzadas, so if we're just reverting back to that state, it's not considered a change in nature. But the Rebbe explains that the Rambam is not happy with this way of learning because at the end of the day, it might not be a change in the nature of the world inherently, the way the world was supposed to be, but it's still a change the way the world was running for a few thousand years. And the Rambam holds that even that, it doesn't have to be even, any change is not required from the nature, the way we know it. But then the Maharal gives another thing. This is a classic Maharal approach to a number of things where you get, and the Nekuda that he explains is, many Memorei Chazal you have, like I give you a random example, which the Rebbe also brings. It says, you have a pasuk on the Meraglim went to Eretz Yisrael. It says that they returned and they saw that the 7 nations had Arim B'tzuris. What's the Lashon B'Shamayim? That the cities had walls, went up until the heaven. So the Rashi or whatever the Chazal tell us, they use the Lashon Dibra Ksubim Lashon Havai. The pasuk is exaggerating. It was mamish, kind of a wall. Today we have something called a skyscraper. That's all Lashon Hamushal. That's all the borrowed terminology. Obviously, you kind of something that goes straight in.
Where's the sky?
Right.
No, it doesn't reach to the sky.
Why not? What's the sky? It doesn't reach.
A plane can fly on top of it.
So that's right now the sky. He says. I don't know. Where's the sky? Because
you don't know English first.
Yeah.
So the Nekuda is the Nekuda like this. The Nekuda is that in everything in the world, there's a physical way it manifests itself in the world, and then it's Sheidish Adav. Then you have the root of the thing, the way it's spiritually. The way it's spiritually, it's explained that the wall around there, it's Yisrael, is the wall between Klip and Sitrachra, whatever the beard is, and that wall, the Sheidish Yanim, spiritually is Takeb Bashamayim, goes until heaven. Whatever heaven means in that level. So it's the Psukim not Chas Sholom saying something stam. Torah is the emes. Torah is 100% true. Psukim are not stam exaggerating. The Psukim are saying something which is true. the fact that physically it's impossible, begashmius, that it should express, that the gashmius of the world should express the inyanim the way they are in their source, doesn't, in other words, like the Rebbe's, the famous sikh also the Rebbe had about medicine in the Gemara and Rambam, how Torah is eternal, how the medicine and the Shas and Amam eternal. The Rebbe explained this point at length. Torah, in essence, is discussing the way things are l'mayla, above. Torah medaberes b'olyenim v'remezes b'tachtenim. It speaks about the way things are above, and it hints to the way things are down here. It's not everyone agrees. In other words, even if you're going to agree that the Torah speaks that there's also a deeper level, the question is how to view which aspect is the Torah primarily focusing on, the physical thing, just there's also a spiritual counterpart, or the Torah is l'chatchila discussing the spiritual side. So it's explained the Torah is l'chatchila speaking b'ruchnis inyanim. Begashmius, the Gashmius is not a complete, is not able to express the way things are in its source completely. But that doesn't take away that the concept of it, the etzem of dinin, is that it's really a wall that goes up until heaven. They give another example. You have this in the Gemara Masech, they get in the Sugya of the Churban, it speaks about the cities that were destroyed in an area called Har HaMelech. So it says there were 600,000 cities there, and each one there were 600,000 people, and 3 of those cities had twice that amount, which means 1,200,000
cities.
Each 3 cities had 1,200,000 residents. So the shaila is, if you make, I'm not good at math, but if you make the math, comes out, I think, 360 billion or something, and the whole population today in the world is 7 to 8 billion. So how could it be that in this small, this year of Har HaMelech, you had the Samach Tzedek also, that has a mimer that was printed a few years ago. Actually, he also says that it's not.
It says in that Gemara in Gittin,
the
blood till the horse, reached till the horses.
Good, but das is nicht das lav dafke is. But here this is mamish. If you think about it, the Gemara says he said according to that the Gemara asked, hold on, we saw the place and he wasn't even able to put in 600,000 sticks, and the Gemara said that it's a land that stretches when Eden left. But at the end of the day, to say that there were 360 billion people living there when today the whole world population of 7 to 8 billion is a little bit, What's
the question? The question is how does it.
So the question is what's pshat in the Gemara. So the explanation of the Gemara, the way the Maral explains, and other Mefarshim explain, and Samach Tzedek also gives a bit of Chassidus moving with other ways, but the Nekudas HaDevarim, the point is like this. The point is that Lamaila spiritually, the Maral explains the word Shishim, it's 600,000, really Moshiach HaKodesh is 60 ribuy. 60 times 10,000. 60 is a number of ribuy, of a lot. He explains philosophically how that works. Ribuy also means a lot. Lashon ribuy 10,000 also means ribuy. Whatever it is, the point is that simply he's just trying to say that the Chachamim, they use the term which represents there was a huge population. The actual numbers is not the point. The point we're using this term 600,000. Thus it's a metaphoric way of explaining something huge. But there's a deeper nekuda. The deeper nekuda is like this. Deeper nekuda means this particular place had Begashmius had a huge population. Why did it have a huge population? Because B'shar Sheilamayla, spiritually in its source, it had the potential to give out 360 billion people. Begashmius, however, the Gashmius of Elam Haz is not a keli, is not a vessel that the way the bracha, the way it's in its source, should be able to be expressed. Begashmius is impossible, at least until Moshiach comes, to have such a big population. So therefore, Begashmius, there was a certain amount where the physicality of the world mirrored the way it's in its source. In other words, there was taka, a huge population that are shaleli fierach, much more than normal, but the reason why the Gemara says 600,000 times what is 600,000 Dalamaitis is the Gemara is talking the way it's B'Shorshe. This particular place, it had a bracha B'Shorshe in its root. This is the way it was. Begashmis didn't express itself to be exactly that number because Begashmis, you can't. It's not possible to have the number. It doesn't take away from the fact that the spiritual the place Begashmis was connected with this level of bracha. Now the question is, what domain are we talking about? When we speak about cities, are we talking about the physical city? We're talking about the cities the way they are in their spiritual source.
Ein keach chosel peyach. Lamaila is ein keach chosel peyach. Was hier in bekoyach.
Yeah. So this is something that the Maharal, when he has a Sefer Beit HaGoyla, and with a number of Svarim, the Maharal explains a number of things, people, different Maimori Chazal, which seem to be extraordinary. He explains it with this Nekuda. So he says, Al Derech Zeh, the same Nekuda here. He says, you could explain if you want, if somebody, I guess, is not ready to accept that the Gashmi is going to be like this, that a woman will give birth every day, and that the world will give her ready-made food, and thus. So he says, the Gemara is speaking the way it's mitzad the tzura. When mitzad, in other words, want to put it, I'm just using my, adapting it in my terms. If you want to discuss the way the world will be spiritually, the spiritual level at the world of Moshiach will come, it will be on the level of Taket, beside its spiritual source, it should Taka be giving out ready-made food and clothes, and women should give birth every day, and so on and so forth. It's possible that the physicality of the world won't be able to express it fully, but it will still be expressed in some, in other words, it will still be a much easier for women to give birth. There will be much more children born. It will be much easier to have food and clothes, even though it won't be able to, the chomer, the physical vessel of the world, won't be able to express the way things are in the tzura, in the lashon moral, in its spiritual source, but obviously it will mirror it to some degree. It's going to affect the physicality of the world in some degree. But nevertheless, there's nothing wrong for the Chachamim and Adra, but this is the way the Chachamim spoke. When they spoke about when Mashiach will come, not necessarily discussing how the Gashmis of the world will be able to bring out the Niyanim, the way they're Alamad. Discussing that mitzad the Shayrish, the way the world be'etzim should be, is kach v'kach. Mitzad this Ruchni, the source, is going to be on such a level. It should be giving out ready-made food, ready-made clothes. Women should be giving birth every day, and so on and so forth. The physicality of the world won't be able to completely mirror it. Won't be able to completely manifest it, but obviously to a large degree it will be manifested.
This is not the Chassidus who explains this way.
Now, this is what the Maharal explains. This is a classic approach of the Maharal on many things. He applies it to this case. Now, Al Pi Chassidus, I would say that it's machma, the Bir of Chassidus is mamish nishtazeh, because the Bir of Chassidus is mashma. The Chiddush here is that the Gashmis of the world be mamish a keli to the Ruchni. It's like we discussed Sikh Chelik Lamed Zayin, the Indian that things will grow quickly and everything, and the Gashmis of the world would be mamish one with the Dvar Hashem. So from the way it's explained up in Chassidus is Zirkind nishtaz. Obviously, this is not the final. It could be that in one stage it will be like this, but I'm saying, but Poyal Mamish Chassidus stuff, and he learns that the ultimate is that the Gashmis of the world will be a complete keli. Even more. The
salad, it will be this galad, but the elikoshev is there. That's why.
For the first Pirush, you could say the same thing as now. Vervis Lamailo is bekoyach, that should be should.
No, fine. But there has to be. That's why. That's why I'm being madgish. There has to be some type of correlation. You can't say that there's one person living in the city, but B'Shor Sheilamayla there's 360 billion. There has to, in other words, place Begashmis is taka huge, but B'Shor Shei it had this number. Begashmis it wasn't able to, but there has to be. It has to al derech adam b'tzuris b'shamayim. The wall was taka huge. So people said that it's in the heaven, but Baruch, in other words, it manifested, even though Begashim it can't taka reach the heaven, but it manifested itself in the way that it went very, very high up. There's some type of correlation.
The Gemara says in Gittin, Chmishin Tamidim Hoyle, Shmein Hoyle, Hilel Nazokin, God Lashur Kulam is against him in Zil, Kotin is given Yichmen Zakai. Yamar Allah Yichmen Zakai. As a given Baki, Al Sichschulin, Sichschulin, Efes, Dovada, Dovagodl, Dovacotton. Is that like no matter? My Dovagodl, my Dovacotton. Dovagodl is. Nay, Dovacotton is against Minazil is Amrallah was looking at the thing this is Zok the Rashba of them the children was geschrieben zu den Kindern von den Kindern sind weggefallen von der ganzen Niederschrift. Schaut er sei. Also im Teil sagt man, dass Double Cotton, das Loch ist Double Cotton. So he tells them the misunderstanding the whole plot is as Teira Taka teaches you the Double because it's Lamaila. But Agbayev Ravid of a cotton is like he gets a mushal of a pharmacist that he makes the medicine. So how do you come to medicines? They figure it out how this will heal. So when you take the pill and you take it and put it in your mouth, it's a part of a cotton because you're actually doing it. But it comes as a result of a dava gadol that a good how it is l'mayla. That's why everything in the world works. When you're seeing things mate, it's a dava cotton you see over here. It's sheirish l'mayla is
Okay, now I just wanted to say the difference between now and Yemei Moshiach. If it's in Yemei Moshiach, it's l'mayla.
So in other words, what I would say is that in other words, the Maral gives more the word that the Rambam zogt. As Lasalov, things will be so easy to get, and the way they explain according to the Rambam, the women will give birth to children so easily, and so on. It's still connected with the pshat of the Gemara, because Taka, it's begashmi is you can't have it necessarily right away, that it should be giving out ready-made food and dust, but it'll still be so much easier since b'shorshei. Taka, the way he says, the way the world is in the Gabi, the Eibush is going to be in that level, so that will mirror itself off in that way. This is my humble understanding of the words of Maral. I hope I'm not too far off. If I am, but mechila, fine. I just wanted, that's just stamach, really what I wanted to say. Negaya, the Indian of Asidi Sheshetel B'chol Yom. First, there's a number of inyanim here. Sa'al Pinigel, Sa'al Pichsidis. There's one question. Yeah, the Alter Rebbe brings us down and get us HaKadosh Simun Chavav. One thing is, how's it taka? What does it mean a woman will give birth every single day? A simple question, huh? Yeah. So a simple question. She'll give birth every single day. So a woman after she gives birth, she's tummy at least 7 weeks I'm sorry. What is it? No, there's a week for a zocher, 2 weeks for a nekeva.
And then she should give a katad.
Good, but that's the
okay. And Korban should be afterwards.
She could bring fine. Good. So the question is, what does it mean that every single day she'll have a baby? She won't be allowed to be with her husband every single day. So
you said she won't need it. She won't need a husband.
That's fine. That's a besondere Sache. But before I get to it, fine. So
the bites got so like this. The men also going to
so that Alter Rebbe Taka writes in the Geras HaKadosh. Alter Rebbe explains, and a number of other Mefarshim explain that he writes in Teled Isha B'chol Yoyim Mibia Achas. This is Masalei Tishtanis. He said that in other words, if a woman gives birth, her husband not allowed to be with her. But what's going to happen is, from one union with her husband, she'll give birth for a number of days consecutively.
But eventually
she'll stop giving birth. She's going to have to.
A few days.
So in other words, it doesn't mean that every single day she'll give birth, because she'll be. Huh?
She's not going to be that happy.
Because she.
It's easy.
Because. Now, the truth is, I will mention, even though there's a Gillian HaTosfos that's later was printed recently from Ksav Yad. He asks the same question. There's two shilas here. One shilah is Issa Nida, one shilah is Issa Yeledis. Alter Rebbe's shilah is that Issa Yeledis, she gives birth, she's not allowed to have children. Alter Rebbe doesn't ask about Issa Nida. And Rebbe says that the reason that Alter Rebbe doesn't ask is it's really machlekes medrashim. I don't want to get into it right now. It's not the purpose of the shir. According to some opinions, it won't be Issa Nida when Moshiach will come. And the pashta beer is that the nature of pasha change. She won't discharge blood. So she won't. Good, there's different Yerushalayim. I'm saying if you want to, but the pashtus, because you can't say the Torah, I mean the Alter Rebbe the Torah won't change. So the only thing that could change is the Metzius will change. But a woman that gives birth is still a tumah, even if. Yeah, it's tumah siledus, no matter whether there's blood, there isn't blood. So for that, Alter Rebbe says you can't. That's definitely going to remain. So he says einachanami. But in other words, she'll give birth a number of babies. In other words, from one union, they'll have a number of children consecutively. There is a one day apart.
Today also, the Gemara says,
and it's the Gemara and the Masechta needed. There was two babies that were born 3 months apart. Yeah, the Gemara brings it down.
Who is it? What are you talking about? They say, this are brothers, not twins.
Yeah. Anyway. So there's a Gillian HaTosfos. Tosfos says that gefragt ist ob Shalat of Tais remember Tais Shalat is nicht Israel das was nicht negate the pratim, and it says that the answer is lost love will be a Torah Chadasha. That's the Torah in Abeno Tam. That the dinim will change. The Alter Rebbe in Igeres HaKodesh clearly negates the answer. He says he could only answer that by Tchias HaMesim. The Moshiach Moshiach, you can't answer that.
Different kuffer.
Yeah, it's a different kufel. Tchias HaMesim says the Moshiach Moshiach is not shaykh to answer, but in the Gillian HaToises, that's not the answer that's given.
You know, it's interesting. I remember when Blau used to come out with his svarim, he used to go to the Vatican and get these old Ksavim and print them.
Blau?
Blau's father.
Ja.
Er hat kriegen dat man Sachen von der Svarim, er gedruckt das Sachen von Peskele Shein.
Yeah.
Aber in the yeshivas, they refrain from using these things, because a lot of the things over there it says is still to the old Shimon Shkops and conclusions of us, weil aber es ist angenommen geworden, as it's a matter, you know, how's it going to work? It's not, it is no, all the kolalim that we feel in Shas based on what we learned, we had till now, won't apply anymore, because Tis is saying the opposite with a kolalim of how he accepted it.
No, lavdaf. This nekuda, this nekuda you have in the number of medrashim speaks about different isurim of mitzvahs b'teil. Shed agmara b'frashes mitzvahs b'teil. You know what I'm saying? No, fine. So I'm saying the word of Taisus, the Alter Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe is very. He says that you can't say it will happen right. It will have to happen after Tchias HaMesim. But it doesn't mean that there aren't others. This says those metavach and Taisus and the Alter Rebbe basically. Anyway, so that is okay. It's already getting late. Just chaparai another minute. So that is why the Alter Rebbe learned. The Alter Rebbe clearly learns, and a number of other Mefarshim say the same thing. They say, "What does it mean a person will be with his wife every day?" Even Megash, forget about this tumah. I mean, every single day is going to be with his wife. So they say it's going to be, and according to those biyudim, that's what they learn from the Tanya Geilas. What's the raya from the Tanya Geilas? The Shalom and others explain the way they learn is that the Tanya Geilas, she has a bunch of eggs, and they say that she could give. The way it works, Tanagoyim b'chlal are is the Gemara's right. So, but b'chalif, and he says that Tanagoyim from one thing she gives out a number of eggs. You know, in other words, there's a whole batch of eggs comes out one day at a time, which all could come from one. You know,
union.
Yeah. So that is the dimion to Tanagoyim. That's the way a number of Mefarshim. And later we're verantwortlich asach thing.